Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? Does your memory
Recording. Oh, is this really the actual episode?
Yeah.
Oh, hi everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Significant Lovers.
It's Kel and Mel.
Mm-hmm.
I know, this started really abruptly.
I know. I kind of like it. I'm Mel.
I'm Kel.
And welcome to our show. It's a true love podcast. We're talking about couples and relationships, history and pop culture.
Yep. And we're cousins.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's always relevant to mention.
Yep. Our moms are sisters.
Yes.
And we have the same grandparents.
It's true. So thank you guys for joining us today, and thank you, Mel, for joining me. We're starting much later than usual. It's 9 p.m.
Yeah, we had a few technical difficulties.
Oh, quite a lot of technical difficulties. Because first I forgot some hardware, then the software wasn't working.
Yep, it's a hardware software issue.
Yes, both.
Mm-hmm.
Not what you want to happen. But we're here. We're still alive.
Mm-hmm.
I can
And
not see you. We have these acoustic things around our microphones, and I can only see Mel's eyes.
Hi.
If we both sit up really straight.
Yeah, I know we need to be taller. But who are we covering today, Kelly?
Today we are covering the lovely, the incomparable. They always say that at award shows.
They said that about someone really insignificant at the Golden Globes. I hate to say it. Wasn't it like
the incomparable?
Wasn't it like some model actually I had never heard of or whatever? Yeah.
But anyway, to me they are incomparable. Zooey Deschanel and Ben Gibbard. Zooey Deschanel is an actress and musician, and Ben Gibbard is also a musician, lead singer, and guitarist of the band Death Cab for Cutie. And I am just so excited to be talking about them today. I can't believe I get to do this for my job. Just kidding. It's not my job. Maybe someday.
Yeah, maybe someday. If you want to make it our jobs, if you have personal interest in doing that.
We have a Patreon with bonus episodes every other week. Half of our episodes are on Patreon, so you're really missing out if you're not on there. I hate to say it, but you are.
Know. But if you can't afford it or you're trying to save money, that's also fine too.
Yeah, I understand.
I get it.
So Zooey Deschanel and Ben Gibbard, they to me are the ultimate indie dream couple. And I first have to thank our listener Hazel. She messaged us and suggested doing this couple, and she was like, I know Kel likes Death Cab for Cutie, and I think she knew that because we used to host Another Bite of Twilight, podcast about Twilight, and Death Cab for Cutie is on the New Moon soundtrack, and I think I said that I love Death Cab. So I'm guessing that's how she knows. But it was crazy because I feel so weird that I can't see you right now. Is there a way we can, like, position it that I can see you?
Okay,
I don't know. Let me try.
Is this better? Okay, yeah, I think that's better.
Okay. I was craving doing this couple. I was really craving it.
And that's what makes a good episode.
I really wanted to, but I wasn't sure if anybody would care or would want to listen. And then we got that message from Hazel, and I was like, okay, I'm doing it. Yeah. So I'm really following my heart here. I really love both Zooey Deschanel and Ben Gibbard, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I personally don't know anything about their intimate lives.
Good.
Or what they're like as people at all.
You're about to find out.
And what 3 words would you use to describe them?
I only came up with 2 so far, so I'm gonna have to come up with the third one on
the
a
end.
whim.
Yeah.
Indie.
Okay.
You have to. It just is. Artsy.
Okay.
Emotional.
3
words I would use to describe Zooey and Ben. Make sure it's still recording. Yep.
When you say emotional, do you mean their story is emotional or they're emotional people?
I would say both.
Oh, interesting.
So, okay. Guess I'm just going to get into it. Also, I want to thank Charlie, my boyfriend, for meeting us halfway.
Yes.
In Brooklyn.
Thank you, Charlie.
To bring us the cord that we needed.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. This one is for you.
Yeah, this is dedicated to you. So, okay, I wanted to kick this off, I wanted to read a little bit of this article that I came across that I feel like just summed up Zooey and Ben so much, like the reason why I like them, why other people like them, and I just thought this guy did it perfectly, so I'm going to read it if that's okay.
Yeah.
So it's called Zooey Deschanel and Ben Gibbard Where 500 Days of Summer Come to Life. If a shared love of indie rock couldn't make a relationship work, what could? By Luke Winkie.
I love that last name.
Okay. Urban Outfitters froze over in 2009 when Ben Gibbard and Zooey Deschanel announced that they had eloped after a year of dating.
They were married?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I thought they just dated.
No, they were married.
Oh, okay.
The union was nauseatingly cute. Deschanel was fresh off her star-making performance as the bangsy, unattainable twee foil to Joseph Gordon-Levitt in 500 Days of Summer, a film about Joy Division, the Smiths, and the inept emotional terrorism that affects men who frequent record shops to pick up women. Ben Gibbard, of course, is the principal songwriter of Death Cab for Cutie, a band that specializes in writing songs to appease the exact type of guy that Gordon-Levitt's character embodied. Their real-life relationship felt like a fan service retcon. At the end of 500 Days of Summer, Deschanel firmly puts an end to her relationship with Gordon-Levitt, for he is too clingy, too insecure, and too prone to spiraling moments of emo self-defeatism for her to see a future with him. In real life, though, the sad boy got the girl, and dudes with unknown pleasures shirts across the world over-rejoiced. I am a 29-year-old millennial male who grew up reading Pitchfork, Stereogum, Tiny mixtapes, and every other indie rock blog I could find, so you probably won't be surprised that I desperately wanted to meet a girl like Zooey Deschanel for much of my life. I had no awareness of the hard work and compromise that is necessary to forge a healthy, long-lasting partnership. Instead, I believed that love only blooms after meeting someone who shared a mutually intersecting Venn diagram of taste. Two people establish a shared context of music, movies, TV shows, and books, and then they spend happily ever after together rehashing the discussions they used to have in the AV Club comment section. Gibbard and Deschanel had it made. Their light would never go out. The Smiths reference. How hard could marriage be if every dinner table discussion centered around Velvet Underground B-sides? So yes, I feel like I also thought, because I loved 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
It really, really, really rocked my world back then.
I know. I haven't seen it in a while. I should rewatch it.
Yeah, it's good. I love it. I feel like
I wish there were more movies like that.
I know. I think it's one of my favorite movies, and I feel like it's like not cool to say that.
No, I think it's
love it.
I think it's like well respected as a really good movie, right?
Okay.
Isn't it critically acclaimed?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people turned on it, I think, being like, "Oh, manic pixie dream girl."
No, but that's
blah,
the point,
blah.
isn't it? Because it's from
know.
his perspective.
I know.
It's supposed to be like that.
I think it's actually really smart.
Yeah.
And the best soundtrack. But I feel like I did come away from that movie not really learning anything because I also was like, yeah, I want to meet a guy who wears a sweater vest and goes to record stores and listens to the Smiths and has vinyl, and I pretty much still feel that way.
Yeah, so in the movie, I feel like you're supposed to walk away with, like, that they just were not compatible, right?
Yeah.
Like, as people, even though they had a lot in common,
Yeah.
like, he couldn't see that, like, they just weren't right for each other, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think she knew it first, and he just had to accept that.
Yeah. It's a story
wasn't
about
in love with him.
Yeah, it's like about rejection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah, that movie really affected me deeply as a teenager. So I also felt so perplexed and sad to hear that the marriage between Zooey and Ben didn't work out. Like, how could that be?
It must not have been that long of a marriage, right? Because that
wasn't
that long ago that movie? I mean, it was over 10 years ago, probably, right?
Yes. It was 500 Days of Summer was 2009.
Oh, okay. That was actually a while ago.
Same year as New Moon.
Feels like just yesterday. But I guess, like, yeah, she's lived a lot of life since then, because I'm guessing she was with the guy that she has a baby with for a while, and I feel like she's been with the property brother for a while. So that's, like, a lot of multiple relationships, you know, ago.
Yeah. It did all happen very fast, I will say.
Okay. Wow. Kind of like 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, 1 minute it seems like Summer and Tom are going great, and then she's engaged.
Yeah.
And you feel blindsided. Yeah, so I think a lot of people that were into, I don't know, indie rock and stuff of that time period really liked this couple, and also were just really sad that it didn't work out. But I'm gonna get into it now.
All right.
Okay, so just a little backstory. Zooey Deschanel, she is an American actress, singer, and songwriter. She's known for films like Elf, Almost Famous, 500 Days of Summer, and, of course, the TV show New Girl.
Bridge to Terabithia.
Yep. Yeah, some others. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Yes Man.
Oh, yeah.
We watched that in your basement once.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I fall asleep?
Yeah, but I think I might have too, because I don't remember it that well. I would like to rewatch it. Isn't that Jim Carrey?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That feels like so long ago.
I know. And she's in the folk rock band She and Him with M. Ward, which formed in 2006. And she's also a co-founder of the website Hello Giggles.
Oh.
Did you know that? I feel like I knew that and forgot, and then I was like, what?
What's it about?
Because I've been on Hello Giggles before. It's just one of those websites like, I don't know, Refinery 29 or something. Like, they just have articles.
She's the owner of that?
Co-founder. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
she
she ended up
bounced-
selling her
Okay.
half, but yeah.
She's like really, like, she's a lot of going on. Like,
Yeah,
she's really, what do you call that? Ambitious.
she is.
How you say?
She's a multi-passionate person. Yeah, so her name's Zooey Claire Deschanel. She was born in Los Angeles on January 17th, 1980. So she's 42 today. To her father, Caleb Deschanel, a cinematographer, and her mother, Mary Jo Deschanel Weir, was her maiden name, an actress who was on Twin Peaks and some other things, but she wasn't like a huge actress.
Yeah, but her parents like were in the business.
They were in the business, and I listened to an interview with her with Justin Long, is that his name?
Yeah.
With Justin Long, and he said something like, "Oh, that's probably how you got started," and she was like, "Yeah, it was kind of," but and he's like, "Did you use your mom's agent?" And she said like, "No, she didn't have an agent. She just kind of acted randomly." But
wow,
it does seem like she got a role in a play kind of from like a friend of her mom's. So I don't know.
It's like I feel like it opened the door, but not hugely. It's not the same way that someone like. It's not the same as for like Maya Hawke or someone whose parents are like A-list celebrities.
Yeah, like there were opportunities around, but I feel like they weren't able to just like put her in something.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
She is named after Zoe Glass in J.D. Salinger's book Franny and Zoe, so that's why there's like the two O's.
Oh, okay.
And her family called her Zuzu as a nickname.
Oh, that's really
They
cute.
still do. And just from hearing that she's named after a character in a J.D. Salinger book made me think like, okay, this is a literary, cultured, artsy type of family. You know, like the dad's a cinematographer.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's what's going on here. She has an older sister, Emily Deschanel, who's also an actress.
Yeah, she's like in Bones,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Bones. That's her main claim to fame. Their family traveled a lot for her father's work, which was apparently difficult for Zoe, leaving friends and family and similar foods and home behind. I feel like a lot of people we've talked about had that.
I know, it's really interesting.
Is that the key to being famous?
I know. We have an unstable home environment.
Yeah. And she was always interested in singing and performing since she was a kid and wanted to be an actress since she was really young. When she was older, she attended Crossroads School for Arts and Sciences in Santa Monica, where her classmates were Jake Gyllenhaal and Kate Hudson.
Wow.
Crazy.
That must have been an expensive school.
Probably. And she sang in school and did musical theater. She attended Northwestern University for 9 months, but then dropped out to pursue acting.
That's literally, they all drop out.
I know, they all drop out. That's another key to success.
I know.
She had some small acting roles in the late 90s, and then she got the role as Anita Miller, the rebellious sister who loved Simon and Garfunkel in Cameron Crowe's Almost Famous in 2000. And then she went on to be in a lot of the projects that I already mentioned. In 2001, she formed a jazz cabaret act with Samantha Shelton called If All the Stars Were Pretty Babies, and they performed around LA. And then in March 2007, she did 2 songs on the album Night Timing by Coconut Records, which is Jason Schwartzman, who she dated at the time.
Oh, okay.
Do you know Jason Schwartzman?
Sounds really familiar.
Yeah, he's an actor, and then it's one of those things where it's like a band, but it's one person.
Yeah.
You know? He is Coconut Records. Do you know the song? It's like, I miss you, I'm going back home to the West.
Yeah. What does he act in?
So he's been in so many Wes Anderson movies.
Okay.
Like he's the main character in Rushmore, if you saw that. He's in Marie Antoinette. He plays Louis. He's in
I feel like I need to see his
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. He has a mole right here.
I feel like I definitely know him.
So she dated...
What's his name?
Jason Schwartzman. He's part of the whole Coppola family, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I typed in Jason Bateman by accident.
No.
Oh, yes. I've definitely seen him and stuff.
So they dated from 2003 to 2005. And I feel like they were also really indie, really cool, really cute. This was kind of making me, in the background information, making me want to cover them. But I know that would be like too obscure probably. But
maybe someday.
Because she seemed really in love with him. Like, I think this was one of her major loves of her life.
Wow, maybe she'll get a biopic about all these relationships.
So her song on She and Him Volume 1, which I actually have listened to She and Him like throughout the years. So on She and Him Volume 1, she has this song called Sweet Darlin', which my friend Brittany put on a mix CD for me years ago.
Wow.
And
foreshadowing.
I always thought Sweet Darlin' was a cover because it sounds so 60s-ish. But apparently she wrote that with Sweet Darlin', her Sweet Darlin', Jason Schwartzman. So I just feel like she loved him.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she's been in the bands She and Him. And it was from She and Him, that's how she met Ben Gibbard, because they had the same music manager, I guess.
That makes sense.
Yes. And also, before Ben, she supposedly dated the actor Matthew Davis from 2000 to 2001, Hunter Bergen, a bass guitarist from 2002 to 2003, Maroon 5 bassist Mickey Madden. Oh, wow. That's kind of like alleged. I don't know if that's true. Then Jason Schwartzman, as I mentioned. And okay, I know I shouldn't say this because this is about Jason, but she said about Jason one time, she said, opposites attract, but I don't know if they last. My boyfriend is a lot like me. We always agree on the same stuff we don't like. When a song comes on in the car and I go, I hate this song, he'll go, I hate it too. I don't know.
That's cute, but that didn't last.
I know, it didn't last. Anyway, on to Ben. Who is Ben Gibbard? So he's released 10 albums in the band Death Cab for Cutie. He's the lead singer and the guitarist and the lyricist. And he's also part of the Postal Service, which you guys probably know the song Such Great Heights.
Sing it.
They will see us waving from such great heights.
Yeah.
Come down now. Yeah, and he has 2 solo albums, so there's a lot of lyrics to look at. That's 13 albums. So Ben was born in Bremerton, Washington. We've been there, Mel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
We
remember
went to the
that?
actual town?
Yeah.
What did we do there?
We met there with the rental car, remember?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where Ben's from. Oh my god. Yeah. So he was born August 11th, 1976. His father was in the Navy, so they moved around a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Like Zooey. But then they returned to Washington. And yeah, I wrote, geez, is the key to success moving a lot?
Yeah.
He has a sister named Megan. I don't know anything about his mom, but he does have a mom too.
Yeah.
And their family is Catholic. He went to Olympic High School in Bremerton. Doesn't that just sound sort of forks?
I know.
Twilight? He went to Olympic High School, graduated in 1994, which is when I was born. You were in a band when I was born.
I was thinking that as soon as you said that.
And then he studied environmental chemistry at Western Washington University in Bellingham, which is where the rest of the Death Cab members were too, and that's like where Death Cab was founded. So in 1996, he was in the band Pinwheel, and he was very much a part of the grunge scene in Washington. And he made a demo cassette tape under the name Death Cab for Cutie called You Can Play These Songs with Chords. And if anyone's wondering, because you might be like, what the heck is this name? The name Death Cab for Cutie comes from a song called Death Cab for Cutie that was in the Beatles movie Magical Mystery Tour.
What does a song Death Cab for Cutie mean?
I don't know. I know, that's like a whole other level.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means, but it's a song in Magical Mystery Tour. And he's since then said that he wished he named it something more obvious.
Oh, interesting. Well, I feel like it has, like, if people know it has name recognition.
Yeah.
So.
Most fans just call them Death Cab for short.
Mm-hmm.
So after that demo tape was released, it was well received, and he expanded it into a full band, because that was like just him at first, but then it expanded to have the guitarist Chris Walla, bassist Nick Harmer, and drummer Nathan Good. Hello, if you guys are listening.
Hello.
I doubt it.
Were they groomsmen?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You know, I think, spoiler, I know that they were for his second marriage.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know about his marriage. Probably. Why wouldn't they be? I don't know. So then the band, like the full band's first album was called Something About Airplanes, released in 1998. Then they had the album We Have the Facts and We're Voting Yes in 2000. Then the album, the photo album in 2001. And then Transatlanticism came out, which I think is their like most highly acclaimed album. It has like a raven on it with like red string around it.
Yeah.
And then in 2005 came out Plans, which has their most popular song, I Will Follow You Into the Dark, and Soul Meets Body. I feel like that's kind of their second most famous song. And they were like really well received in the whole like indie rock world. They weren't ever like that mainstream, but
yeah.
I feel like they're kind of considered like one of the major
indie
like
bands,
you know?
Most people know who they are.
Yeah. Before him and Zooey got together, he was also in the Postal Service. I mentioned their album Give Up was really successful, almost like more successful than any of the Death Cab albums, and like the song Such Great Heights is huge, but sadly it's not about her because it came out in 2003. So I'm sorry to let people down that way. Then after Plans came out was the album Narrow Stairs in 2008, and that's kind of their saddest album.
Yeah.
I should mention, if anyone doesn't know Death Cab for Cutie, their music is known for being really melancholy and sad and weepy sometimes.
Yeah.
And Narrow Stairs, I think, was their saddest, and that was before they met. They have been nominated for 8 Grammys, but they've never won. But that's okay, because I think the Grammys are kind of a sham anyway.
I mean, it's just like so hard to pit all these different artists against each other.
I know. There's like, I don't even know how many artists
There's
there are.
way
like
too many musicians.
Yeah.
Whereas like film, it's harder to get a film made.
Yeah.
There's not just like a million film. Well, there are a lot, but
I know. It's hard to recognize everybody. So I just think that all songs before Zooey are quite melancholy until they did date. Their album that came out after they were together, Codes and Keys, is kind of considered their first happy album. So it's cute. But a lot of Death Cab fans dislike Codes and Keys, but I actually love it. We'll get into it later. There's not much information out there about who Ben dated before, but obviously he has dated people because the lyrics talk a lot about heartbreak and romance and stuff. Some people in the scene back in the day online swear that he had a thing with the singer Jenny Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
But he said they were just friends. But I found an article from the Seattle Times that said he dated a woman named Joan Hiller. She was in the music industry. She was in, like, music PR. And interestingly, years later, so this was 2004, much later, in 2015, Joan Hiller ended up marrying another member of Death Cab.
Oh, interesting.
Who isn't in the band yet at this time. His name's Dave Depper. He joined the band later. But isn't that crazy?
So she must have stuck around.
Yeah, she stuck around. Yeah. But I just gotta say that in all the things that I've read about Ben Gibbard, they've all been so nice. Like, everyone just has seemingly great things to say about him, that he's really humble and sweet. And I remember one time years ago I read somebody on Reddit, I mean, obviously you don't know who these people are, if you can trust them, but someone said that he just, like, showed up to a running group in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
And that he was just totally cool and nice. And
oh, that's so cute.
yeah, and he's done, like, a lot for charity and for gay rights, and, like, overall he seems like a great guy.
Maybe he'll be one of the only guys to win in the custody battle this week.
Maybe. I do have one, like, kind of naughty thing about him later, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so Zooey and Ben, they met in 2008. What time? 2008. We always talk about
amazing year.
how great 2008. Although I don't want the fashion to come back.
No, me neither.
As much as I love 2008, I really don't want the camis.
No, not the camis.
To come back.
Or the low-rise jeans with the jeans that you have to stick into your Uggs.
Yeah. I know. And the thing is, like, the camis, it's so silly because, like, your pants would be so low that you would need to pull your cami down.
I know.
To cover your butt.
Yeah.
And then you get holes in the cami.
And I would, this is, like, relating to our conversation in the Ashton and Milo one, but, like, I would just rewear the same camis for, like, days at a time, and then just add a new one.
It's so what a time. It really was a time.
Yeah.
It's coming back, though. I swear. It's coming back.
I
I'm
know.
scared. And the ballet flats, which smelled so bad.
Oh, I know. It was a gross time.
It was a great time, but it was a gross time.
Yeah.
And this is the time that they met. They met from their shared music manager, as I mentioned. And I was just wondering how. I don't know how. Like, was it at a party? Did the manager set them up? Like,
yeah.
Or was it a gathering and they just started talking? I was really getting carried away daydreaming. I was imagining, like, did he ask for her number?
I know, yeah. Like, how? Like, what? I mean, were they just friends, like, at that point?
I don't think it was, like, a friend thing, because I think I read that he asked her on a date and then they had a second date.
Oh, it's cute.
I guess I don't know what their first date was, but their second date was dressing up and going to the Ohio State Fair.
Oh, that is so cute.
But what were they doing in Ohio?
I know, yeah. Wait, how old are they?
They...
At this point.
Why'd you catch me in a moment of... Okay, so in 2010... Okay, she was probably... I think she was around 28.
Okay.
And he was around 32.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Good ages.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I'm 28.
Yeah. And I'm 32. I'm just kidding.
No, she's not. She's a liar. Okay. Go back to
it's kind of crazy that this is, like, one of her earlier relationships, and, like, 28 and 32 are obviously young. But it's, like...
scary.
This is literally, like... several relationships ago.
I know, but I'm telling you, Jason Schwartzman was really a big love of her life, I think.
You can have many loves of your life. That's, like, kind of beautiful that, like, she's still finding love, like,
I know,
only a couple years ago.
It is beautiful. So then they were dating. That's all I can say about that. It seemed like pretty quickly they were an indie item, you could say. They performed the Everly Brothers song Dream together at the Democratic National Convention in Denver. And they kept looking at each other, very cute and quirky. You want to see a second of it?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't know if it's going to stop recording. That's really cute. It looks like a random open mic that could be in your town.
I know.
Very cute. Around this time, Ben was interviewed by Spin and was asked about his quitting alcohol because he did quit alcohol. And the interviewer said, "Did meeting Zooey factor in?" And he said, "By the time we started dating, I was a good 4 or 5 months into sobriety. Quitting had been such a positive change in my life. Nothing was going to make me want to go back to that. But I want to qualify that. I'm not like walking around with a chip in my pocket. I don't have a sponsor. I don't go to AA. It's not like that." Okay. We get it. So I really don't, they're pretty low profile, and she wasn't that famous at this point yet. Yeah. So I don't have a ton of information, but in December 2008, they became engaged.
In November?
December 2008.
Oh, so pretty soon after they had met, right? Only a few months later?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty soon after. And March 2009, Death Cab started a tour for Narrow Stairs, which was March through May. And they had June off, and then they had more shows in July. So I was just thinking about that during this time. And I'm not totally sure when they were doing the filming for it. I'm guessing sometime during 2008, but July 17th, 2009, that's when 500 Days of Summer was released.
So I feel like after that, she became a much bigger celebrity.
Yeah, totally. And then September 19th, 2009, they got married in Washington. Pitchfork wrote about it. Death Cab for Cutie frontman Ben Gibbard and actress / she and him singer Zooey Deschanel, otherwise known as the cutest couple in all of indiedom, were married near Seattle on Saturday. And apparently they were seen in the Capitol Hill neighborhood of Seattle after their wedding, and the blog Brooklyn Vegan, which was big back then, well, I think they're still active, no offense, Brooklyn Vegan, claimed that that's where they were honeymooning, but I really doubt that. I feel like they were just in Seattle.
Yeah, why would they honeymoon like right around where he's from?
I know. I think they probably hadn't left yet for the honeymoon. If they did go on a honeymoon.
That's just the reporter making an assumption.
Honeymoon in Seattle.
Yeah.
Like, that's where he's from.
I know.
Can you imagine? Be like, I'm honeymooning in Boston.
I know.
That'd be weird.
I feel like it's almost like Seattle travel or like Seattle tourism. Like, he's like sponsored that.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. But I couldn't find any pictures or anything from their wedding. I mean, this was really before a lot of people were on social media, you know. Things were pretty low-key back then.
And I also feel like back then, the tabloids were so focused on just a few certain people.
Yeah. I do think after 500 Days of Summer, she did become more of a star. And there are some candid pictures of her and Ben walking around on the street and holding hands. And I'll put them on our Instagram, guys. But okay, so then spring 2010, it was reported that Death Cab would be recording their next album in June, which we now know is Coats and Keys. So we can infer that a lot of lyrics are based on his time with Zooey. At this point, Ben is now living with Zooey in LA, but I believe the rest of the band was still living in Washington.
Oh.
And you can tell from past songs, like on the photo album, that he doesn't like LA.
Oh, so he's making that sacrifice for her.
there's literally a song on there that says, like, why would you want to live here?
Oh, gosh.
Smells like an airport runway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's really trashing on it. No offense to people who live in LA. I was thinking, like, man, if you're a Death Cab fan and you live in LA, that would suck.
I know.
'Cause he's
That
been
would be
pretty
sad.
clear about not liking it. But yeah, he's definitely sacrificing to be there with Zooey. And during this same time, she was said to be writing music for She and Him Volume 3. And I feel like a lot of people don't know this, and I didn't know it either, that she actually writes and composes all the music for She and Him.
Wow. I don't know how she has enough time to do all this.
I don't know.
It's crazy. She's
Yeah.
like a workaholic.
I know. But I feel like it's so sexist, but I think I wrongly thought that, like, M. Ward, which is, like, her partner in that he kind of made the music and she just sang.
Well, I would assume
You
that
know?
too, because she was on a hit show for like 7 years.
Yeah.
Like, she's in all these movies. Like, she's so busy. I would think that, like, that's kind of her side
I know.
project.
But no, it's totally not. Like, she is super into it and writes all the songs. They have done some covers too, but and then during this point in my research, I realized that their music is so different. Have you listened to She and Him before?
Yeah, isn't it more like soft? Like, or
Yeah.
it's I feel like they're both like not like hard rock or anything.
No, but like they're both called indie. They both go under that category, but I feel like Death Cab for Cutie is known for being really forlorn and sad, and hers is really cheery
yeah,
and happy.
It's like
It's so
falling in
happy.
love music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, their music is so opposite, actually. She was interviewed by American Songwriter in spring 2010, and they asked, "You recently got married to Ben Gibbard of Death Cab for Cutie. What's it like living with another musician?" And she said, "It's good because we both sort of understand that you need certain things to be creative. He has an office he writes in that's separate, which he drives to. I usually write at home. Usually we'll be understanding of one another." I thought that was interesting to picture their life. I know I'm so creepy, but I actually like really shipped this couple, so I was like trying to imagine their life together a lot. October 2010, before the album that I keep referring to, Codes and Keys, was released, Ben said to Spin, "I'm so proud of this album that at this point I don't care if people don't like it." And the article said, lyrically, Gibbard is also straying from narrow stairs, more indicative of his new life in Los Angeles with his wife, actress and She and Him songstress, Zooey Deschanel. And Ben said, "There's a level of self-loathing in narrow stairs that I'm a bit embarrassed about now. It was a really dark record. I don't want to make that record again. I didn't want to write those songs again. Everything I write is reflective of my own life and the lives of those people around me." I sound like I'm gonna cry. "They reflect the conversations you have and the rumblings of life around you. But when somebody gets married, people assume that they're going to get a certain thing out of an album." And it's interesting. He seemed so proud of Codes and Keys at this point and kind of distancing from Narrow Stairs, which is the more depressing one. But just zooming back to the present, now he considers Codes and Keys like one of their worst albums.
Oh, interesting.
And Narrow Stairs one of the best ones.
Oh. Well, maybe it's because that relationship didn't work out too, so he associates it with that.
Maybe. It's sad. It's sad that, he seemed so happy, and you can tell in the lyrics he's really happy, like, for once, and then he was like, that album wasn't good.
I want to know what happened.
I know. This is also the first time Chris Walla came up with some of the compositions for the entire songs, so just gonna shout him out. But Ben still wrote all the lyrics. And also in 2010, Ben and Zooey sang the Star Spangled Banner and God Bless America at a Giants vs. Phillies game.
Oh, kind of random.
I
They're
know.
not like from that area at all.
I know. He did Death Cab. I don't know if it was Death Cab or just him, but performed at a Mariners game. He's a big Mariners fan.
That makes more sense geographically.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know why they were at a Giants Phillies game.
Yeah.
Random. I don't know. So, November 3rd, 2010, Ben played a solo acoustics show in Seattle to benefit a homeless youth organization called Teen Feed. And near the end, him and Zooey sang a duet together. They sang, "I'll Never Find Another You."
Oh.
Maybe I'll play a second of it.
Not much whiplash.
You want to try the song again?
Yeah, let's try it.
This is a song by the Seekers.
There's a new world somewhere called the Promised Land, and I'll be there someday if you hold my hand.
So yeah, the lyrics are like, "I'll never find another you," and it makes me sad to watch it
I know. I'm really, I have no idea like how they're gonna break up.
I know, right? They seem so cute and creative together. It's really sad. Okay, March 31st, 2011. Finally, Codes and Keys is released with many songs seemingly inspired by Zooey. And to NPR, he said, "I feel that our music has always been really honest about the people we are now. As a songwriter, I'm not necessarily writing about myself or my life, but I would be remiss if I tried to continue writing in a solely melancholic voice, given the fact that I'm now a married man."
Oh, interesting.
So, I'm going to look at some of the lyrics, if you guys are down. I guess it's up to me. So, okay, the first song that is clearly about Zooey to me, I'm going to play it a little bit.
She may be young, but she only likes old things. And modern music, it ain't to her taste. She loves the natural light, captured in black and white. She sees mirages of mountain ranges. Within the blink of her eyes, it changes back to the open plain. Oh no, she can't explain.
So, this is the song Monday Morning. It's actually, I think, my favorite Death Cab song.
Really?
I love it. And it's funny because they're known for being really sad, but that song just really lifts me up and, I don't know, makes me feel hopeful and excited. Okay, but the lyrics are, that remind me of Zooey. It says, "She may be young, but she only likes old things. In modern music, it ain't to her taste. She loves the natural light, captured in black and white. She sees mirages of mountain ranges. Within the blink of her eye, it changes back to the open plain. Oh no, she can't explain." And then later he says, "The night is gonna fall and the vultures will surround you. And when you're looking in the mirror, what you see is gonna astound you. But all these lines and grays refine, they are the maps of our design of what began on a Monday morning." I don't know what happened on Monday morning. I don't know if that's when they first met or something. I don't know. But it's very cute. It's very happy, and I think it's definitely about her. Then there's the song Unobstructed Views. It just seems very in love. The lyrics are, "There's no eye in the sky, just our love, no unobstructed view, just no perfect truths, just our love, just our love. And there's no verse, no monument of words for our love, for they can't hold all I know about my love, about my love. Storm clouds break, pools remain, memories for earth's embrace, that umbre up above, they become new love, new love."
Sounds like they're in love.
Yes, it does. Let me see. Okay, this one really reminds me of Zooey. This is called "Stay Young, Go Dancing."
I like that title.
Light is sweet in the belly of the beast, in the belly of the beast, and with her song in your heart, it can never bring you down. It can never bring you down. Lost in a maze of 1,000 rainy days, of 1,000 rainy days. But when I heard her voice, oh, it led me to the end. Yes, it led me to the end. 'Cause when she sings, I hear a symphony, and I'm swallowed in sound.
It sounds like happy, like her music.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does kind of. Yeah, and like the lyrics end with her song in your heart, it can never bring you down. She sings.
Mm-hmm.
And then later it says, but when I heard her voice, oh, it led me to the end. 'Cause when she sings, I hear a symphony. I'm renewed. Oh, how I feel like through autumn's advancing, we'll stay young, go dancing. It's so happy.
Mm.
And it's so unusual for Death Cab. Like, their past lyrics were things like, who's gonna watch you die?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will follow you into the dark, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, they're still romantic, but they were much darker.
More morbid
yeah.
undertones, yeah.
This is the new year, and I don't feel any different. Yeah, cynical.
Yeah.
And it just, it warms my heart. And I really like that album, even though I think a lot of Death Cab fans don't like that album that much. But I do, Ben. If you're listening, I do. Okay, back to the story. July 2011, Ben accompanied Zooey to the Winnie the Pooh premiere in LA.
Cute.
Very cute, because she did music for the soundtrack, I guess.
Aww.
And guess who was there?
Who?
Boo Boo Stewart. Who played Seth Clearwater in the Twilight Saga.
Was he in the movie?
I don't know why he was there.
Oh. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. Around the same time, she spoke to iVillage about Ben. What?
I would have never guessed Boo Boo Stewart.
That's why I didn't make you guess. She spoke to iVillage about Ben's music and said, I'm a pretty busy person, so I'm guessing his career, it allows us to get our work done. And when we see each other again, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. And then she said, probably the most surprising thing about married life is that it's not really that different. You still have to make a commitment and think about that commitment every day. It's not like you get married and then all the work is done for you. You get married and you're still in a relationship and you're still doing your best to make it the best relationship you can. But it's not work in a bad way. It's just that you can't expect to make no effort. You still have to make the effort and be kind and understanding. It just sort of solidifies your commitment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't go into marriage and be like, all right, it's over now. I don't have to try anymore.
Yeah. So September 2011, this is when Zoe's brand new show, New Girl, premieres on Fox. It's huge, and all of a sudden there's tons of articles about her. Like, before this, there weren't really that many, and then all of a sudden there were tons.
Is she a producer on that show as well?
I don't know.
I feel like that show was just, like, suddenly she became almost like Mindy Kaling level as terms of name recognition. Like, she became, and that show to this day is, like, still, people are still getting obsessed with it now.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I know so many people
It's
who
huge.
just, like, rewatch it over and over and over again.
I know. There was a New York Magazine article that covered an event for New Girl. It was an early screening of it in LA. And this is what it said. It said, elsewhere on the premises, Deschanel's husband, Ben Gibbard, the lead singer of the band Death Cab for Cutie, is tending to her mother, actress Mary Jo Deschanel, a wisp of a woman with red Harry Potter glasses. Then there's John Mayer.
No.
He's in every episode.
He has to be.
He's in every single episode.
Was he in the last one? Yeah, I think he was.
Probably. Then there's John Mayer, who is apparently friends with Merriweather, the showrunner, like the creator of New Girl, who towers over everyone in a cream-colored rancher's hat. I will say, though, Ben Gibbard is 6'2".
Oh,
so
my God.
I don't know if he towers over Ben Gibbard, but who towers over everyone in a cream-colored rancher's hat. I guess his hat probably added height.
Yeah.
Photographers insist that Deschanel take a photo with him, and she said, I felt weird because I've never met him in my life, she said afterward, but he seemed nice. The lights dim and the guests quiet, including Mayer, who is... I feel like the writer of this article just got captivated by John Mayer.
I know.
He had nothing to do with this.
That's so
He's
funny.
just a guest at this event.
Yeah, John Mayer walks in a room, he becomes the subject of conversation.
It's so
It
true.
happens with our podcast too. John Mayer just inserts himself into every story.
He didn't ask for it, though.
I know,
We're
yeah.
just all obsessed with him.
We are. It's
I
like,
know.
guys, that's why it's like we gotta be chill, like, towards him, because it's like you love to hate him, so you really do love him.
The lights dim and the guests quiet, including Mayer, who has just finished doling out some wisdom to the male cast on how to handle the attention of female fans while staying faithful to the women in their lives. Signed hits. It's okay to sign hits. Moments later, he's an afterthought, off back behind a rubber tree, doing some serious texting. All eyes shift back to Deschanel.
Oh my god, he's sending an angry email to someone.
Like, that was so not relevant to tell us that John Mayer is texting like crazy behind a tree. But they had to tell us.
The article's not even about John
I know.
Mayer.
I just have
Wow.
to say, I saw John Mayer texting like crazy, hiding behind a tree.
And of course, he'd be like giving people advice
I know.
too.
At the event, she was asked, "Do you ever get mistaken for Katy Perry?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
It's like her, Katy Perry, what's her name? Married to John Krasinski, Emily Blunt,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously her
Yeah.
sister, Zoe's sister.
There was also a girl on Skins who was thrown into that group too sometimes. She really
yeah.
looks like them.
When you see all their faces together, it's actually hard to tell
I
the
know.
difference. That's probably why she has bangs. It sets her apart.
Yeah. Zoe said, I literally met her twice 6 years ago. It's a strange relationship to have with somebody. I probably answer more questions about her than about my own family.
That's so funny.
And the New Girl creator, Merriweather, joked that Zoe was the pinup of Williamsburg, and Merriweather said, when we were interviewing guy writers, we'd be talking about the show, and it's very professional, then all of a sudden their voices would get, like, really low, and they'd be like, I loved Zooey Deschanel. And I was like, all right, it's better for both of us if you hold it back. But it's true, a lot of men love Zooey Deschanel.
They do, yeah.
Mhm. And honestly, I get it. I think that pisses some women off where they're like, oh my god, why does everyone like this girl?
Yeah.
And her cupcakes and her ukulele and stuff. But I also feel captivated by Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah, she does seem just like so, I don't know, like whimsical and
Yeah.
but like soft and light and like not like
But she seems smart too.
yeah.
I aspire to be like
And
her.
she's beautiful. She's such
Yeah.
a beautiful woman.
I asked Charlie what he thought of Zooey Deschanel, and he said he also really liked her. Also said she was a dream girl.
Yeah.
And about this whole thing, Ben said, I'd seen her movies and obviously I thought she was very beautiful. And he said about meeting her, I was just awestruck that she was even talking to me. Every once in a while there's a guy that tries to be charming and goofy. I'm just kind of like, I'm going to wait this out and make sure it doesn't get inappropriate. The male fans are kind of like indie rockers, stylish and fey. It's very rare that a big muscly guy is like, I love you, Zooey Deschanel. But who knows, maybe the show will change that. Gibbard, who joined Twitter only after Deschanel, this is still the New York Magazine article, Gibbard, who joined Twitter only after Deschanel persuaded him to, they tweet back and forth, I heart Gibstack, I don't know what that means, says that Deschanel isn't using her tweets or hello giggles as some clever way to shield the real Zoe from view. On the contrary, he said, I really don't feel like there's a lot of mystery about Zoe, you know what I mean? I don't mean that in the sense that she's not a complex person. She is, but I feel like she has given the public and her fans a lot of who she is, and I think that's part of her appeal. Who she is in private is very similar to the person you see in public. Okay, so this is the author of the article said, as I'm leaving LA, I listened to Deschanel's mixtape. The first time I met her in New York, she was going off to DJ an event with Gibbard. All LPs, of course. And I mentioned that I had a friend who had been feeling down and listening to Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips on repeat. It's a depressing song. And Zooey said, I've got it. Happiness songs are like my area. And I guess she gave a mixed CD to this writer, but the writer forgot about it. I can't believe that. And then 3 months later, decided to finally listen to it. And all the songs, so this is a mixed CD that Zooey Deschanel made. All the songs on it were from between 1962 and 1979. And the writer said, I probably should write down who wrote this article, said, only 5 artists I recognize. Ben said, I was immediately taken when we first met that she had just this like immense knowledge of really obscure music. I hate to say it, but it's the kind of obsession that mostly dudes have.
That's
like,
kind of sexist.
Oh, but Emmett, he said I hate to say it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but
I
Emmett
know.
Rhodes' second record, nerdy, lonely guys know about this stuff. She's turned me on to a lot of music I hadn't heard. I just gotta say, this reminded me so much of my friend Brittany. Oh my god, who I'm mentioning again. Brittany is like that. Like, she just knows so much old music and, like, obscure music, and she has made me mix CDs, not even playlist CDs, several times, and they're always so cool. And, yeah, She and Him song was on there once. And Ben said also about her music taste, she's really into late era Beach Boys. For all I knew, the Beach Boys stopped making records after Pet Sounds. I'm a musician. I should know better than that. She was like, you've never heard Sunflower? And she was like mad about it. So it's so like 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like this writer here too is like,
Yeah.
So surprised. Like, oh, you're into this music?
Yeah.
You like
yeah.
the Smiths?
Yeah.
I love the Smiths.
I know.
And then falling in love with her right away because of that.
Mm-hmm. Have this they put the whole track listing in here that she made. It's all old. It's like the only artists I really know. There's like the Turtles, Etta James, Beach Boys, but yeah, she really knows a lot about music.
I do find that, like, I know he said I hate to say it, but that's like
Yeah.
really condescending.
I
like,
know.
to be like so impressed with her because of that. Like, I know it's
Yeah.
really cool, but like
Yeah,
it's just because she's a woman who's into
I know.
the same music that he's into.
I know. It's definitely a thing. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because it was 2011 and I still
Yeah.
feel like, I don't know, it's a different time. But when the journalist asked her if her and Ben bonded over music the first time they met, she said, I'm wary about this thing about being in the generation of social networking where people are like, I am my musical taste. I am not just a collection of music or a collection of movies. I think that's the thing people romanticize. Oh my god, she likes the same band, so she's a dream. I've definitely
Yeah.
learned that you can easily get stars in your eyes. I'll meet directors and they'll be like, I love Gibbard, and they love screwball comedies, and they love all these things I love. And then it's like, wait a minute, that doesn't mean they can make movies. Just because somebody likes something, that doesn't mean anything, really.
That makes a lot of sense, though. Like, just because they have the same interest doesn't mean they're going to be compatible personality-wise. Like,
Yeah.
like on a personal level, like, is he a good listener? Is like,
Yeah.
I don't know, do they like to go out? Do they both like to stay in? Like, it's like definitely more than just what
Yeah.
music they listen to.
That's true. I know. I felt like I don't know. I don't want to get into it. But shortly after this whole article, this is September 2011, in November 2011, it was announced that it was a sad day in indie because only 2 months after the New Girl premiere,
Oh, after the premiere.
and only after 2 years of marriage, it was reported that Ben and Zooey were divorcing.
Wow, it's kind of interesting. It's like right as her career is like reaching a new level.
I know. Zooey officially filed for divorce on December 27th, 2011, citing, I can never say this word, irreconcilable.
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 No,
Wait,
I know that's not right. I know how to.
It's IRRECO.
Irreconcilable.
Irreconcilable.
differences.
Oh, yeah, irreconcilable.
Yeah.
That's right. Reconcilable differences What the fuck does that even mean?
I know. They should update it.
After only 2 years of marriage, Zooey was 31, Ben 35. A source told Us Weekly it was amicable with no third party involved. Which is kind of weird to me. Like, why even say that?
I know, exactly. It kind of makes it seem like that's what you would say if there was a third party involved.
I know. A lot of publications, I saw several that said they were actually sad about this. And I think around the same time, I think Kim Kardashian had gone through a divorce or something. So a lot of people were comparing it and being like, I actually care about this one.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel the same, to be honest.
Yeah.
What happened, though? What happened? I couldn't find a straightforward explanation. Although, of course, we're going to have song lyrics later to look at. I think this could be totally made up because this is on the Dumois subreddit. And I don't know. I feel like people just say stuff on there.
Yeah, we don't know that. I don't know, like, the fact checking that they do.
Yeah.
But...
No, especially this, because this is just people commenting.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
But there was a post on there that said, what's the best celebrity gossip that someone has told you and sworn is true? I don't mean a blind that you read somewhere. By blind, I mean blind item. Anonymous gossip. I don't mean a blind you read somewhere on the internet, but something that someone has told you that they heard from a friend of a friend of a friend who went to school with a celebrity / dated their brother / did a yoga class with their ex-wife and completely insists is true. The weirder or more random, the better.
Ooh.
And someone commented, and again, this is probably totally bullshit, but I'm just gonna tell you, someone commented that Zooey cheated on Ben with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No.
I know, right?
That sounds like fan fiction.
I know, right?
I know.
I also saw this on the website Lipstick Alley, but I do think it's it's so convenient.
It's also
like,
years after 500 Days of Summer.
I know.
Maybe if it was like during their them shooting that movie.
I know. I don't think so.
It could be like one of them wanted kids and like one of them didn't want kids or something. Oh, do they both have kids? No.
She actually did say on the record that she didn't want to have kids, but she does have kids.
Oh, okay, interesting. That's a huge thing, especially for people at that age. Like one reason why they break up and why it would be amicable, because it's just like they don't want the same thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think that's true, but I will say that Joseph Gordon-Levitt's later wife does have dark hair with bangs.
Oh, that's telling.
But I really don't think so. They were friends, and they had been friends for years, and they did record a video together. What are you doing on New Year's Eve? They sang, and she played ukulele, and he did look really smitten the whole video.
Oh.
But she just acted pretty normal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't picture it, to be honest with you. Even though they
I know.
have good chemistry.
I doubt it. I feel like that's too easy to be like, oh, her co-star and
Yeah.
the love interest in 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the divorce documents, it was revealed that Zooey had $1,578,000 in the bank, an additional $1,645,000 in stocks and bonds.
Wow.
And that she made an average of $95,000 a month and spent around $22,500 a month.
Wow.
And that she donated $1,500 each month to charity.
Wow, that's really nice.
That is nice. Crazy though. Sorry, Zooey. Invasion of privacy, but that was interesting.
95,000 a month. That is so. I can't imagine that.
I know. Can you?
Oh my gosh. Manifesting.
95. I can't even imagine. Oh,
How many Patreon subscribers would we need to make that much?
I don't even know. So, not long after Ben, she started dating the screenwriter Jamie Linden, who wrote Dear John. We've mentioned that before. And they actually dated for 2 years.
Wow. She's a real relationship girl.
Yeah, she is. She is. October 2012, Ben released a solo album called Former Lives. And Zoe's actually credited with some vocals on the album.
Oh, wow.
And he said that he made the album, it was a collection of songs that he'd written over many years that just didn't make it onto a Death Cab album. And he was interviewed around the time, like promoting this solo album. And NPR talked to him and said, "How are you holding up?" It was Raz from NPR. How are you holding up? And Ben said, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I realize that answer sounds incredibly dire, maybe kind of serious, but life is wonderful and it's been really rewarding. So he was also interviewed by consequence.net about former lives, and they said, you've said the material in former lives covers 8 years, 3 relationships, 2 cities, and drinking. You also stated, I think people would be surprised when these songs were written or who they were written for. Is that your way of telling naysayers that not everything on this album is about your most recent relationship, Zooey Deschanel? He said, songs are very rarely what people think they're about. I've never given a roadmap for who my songs are about when they were written in the past. I'm certainly not going to start doing it now. I honestly don't see how going through an album and telling everybody what every song is specifically about is beneficial to the listener. I think it actually takes away from the experience, because what makes a song resonate with somebody is not the fact that you know a song's about a particular thing. It's about how it resonates with your life and how you contextualize it. I honestly feel like I felt this way before. It doesn't do the listener any service to be given a roadmap for any songs.
I agree with that. I think sometimes if it's a song that you don't really like at first, you can amplify it when you're like, oh, that's pretty cool that it's about that person.
Yeah.
But if it's a song you really love and then you find out it's specifically about something else, it can sometimes take it away from your situation if it differs from what you went through or whatever.
I agree. And Ben, I feel bad because I'm going to look at your lyrics and analyze how they're about Zooey. But I will say that, like, even though I do kind of think, oh, I feel like this is about Zooey, I can still listen to them and not think about that.
Yeah.
They're very poetic and relatable and stuff. This next part of the interview isn't about Zooey, but I thought it kind of related to our podcast a little bit. They said, I was reading the lyrics of the album and I was drawn to how poetic they were. When I was reading the lyrics to Bigger Than Love, I wasn't sure if this was an autobiographical song or not. And then I read you based it on love letters between F. Scott and Zelda Fitzgerald, which was rather interesting. And Ben said, in that song, that's an important detail in knowing and understanding the song. I don't know who could have tied it all together, who could have figured out what the song was about given the geographical locations and a very deep knowledge of F. Scott Fitzgerald's work. Probably not many. I've been so fond of those letters that they wrote back and forth for a long time. There were so many beautiful stories within them, and I wanted to tie a little piece of them together to do a song. And they said, were they published in a novel somewhere, or did you stumble upon them in a store? And he said, there's a book called Dear Scott, Dear Zelda, which is all their correspondence throughout their lives. It's a pretty great read. It's really romantic and tragic at the same time. I'm very fond of it, and I've been trying to figure out a way to pull from it for a while, and I ended up writing that tune. So I just think that sounds like he might like our podcast.
I know. Maybe he's already listening. We don't know.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, if he's into Scott and Zelda's romance, I hope, Ben, you'll understand why we're so fascinated with your romance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same. I do want to do F. Scott and Zelda someday. That's just a big one.
See, that's why it's like history. People don't think it's as invasive to like talk about
and they're
like
dead.
Celebrity couples from exactly.
That's true. But yeah, I know. And interestingly, the cover of Former Lives, that album, the artwork is by his ex-girlfriend Joan Hiller.
Oh wow, from before Zooey?
Before Zooey. I feel really creepy that I found all that out. So, a couple songs on this solo album I feel like could be about Zooey. There's the song Shepherd's Bush Lullaby, which talks about London. I just think it's interesting because it hasn't come out yet in this timeline, but later, She and Him's album Volume 3, there's also a song about London. So, shared memories? I don't know. And in the song, he says, I hope you can hear me in dreams, be near me as you sleep an ocean away. I know that I love you, my every thought is of you. Oh, the clouds are beginning to break.
Oh.
Just sad. On the song Oh Whoa, he says, it's been a basement of a year.
Ooh.
Which sounds sad, but it's actually a really upbeat song. So
Well, sometimes a basement can be fun.
That's true. There's this song A Hard One to Know. I don't know if it's about Zooey. It could be about somebody else, but or it could be about multiple people. I don't know. But it says, you call a truce and then you start a fight. You change your signals like a traffic light because you're a hard one to know. Around your heart, you tied a fishing line and you cast it out there just to see who bites because you're a hard one to know. I toss and turn, but I just can't get to sleep. When I start thinking about what you do to me, you're like a flower garden buried in snow. You're a hard one to know. And I just thought it was interesting, the line about you're like a flower garden buried in snow. Because later on, she has a song where she calls herself a snow queen.
Oh, interesting.
I know.
What do you think that means? So what is it? You're a flower garden buried in snow?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're a beautiful person, but there's something like blocking your beauty or whatever? Or...
Yeah, I feel like it's just kind of the same thing he's saying, like you're a hard one to know. Like you put up there's something covering you. Yeah, like there's a front.
Yeah, it's
like there's obvious. There's something keeping you from showing your beautiful garden. I don't know, your vulnerability or
but
something.
It seems like you said before that people say that who Zooey Deschanel is publicly is also who she is privately.
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah.
I know.
Unless she's not even showing her real self privately.
Yeah, maybe. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You've been doing your persona on me too?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. It could not be about her. Then there's this song, Broken Yoke in the Western Sky, which kind of sounds like a song that she would sing. It kind of has like a howdy, upbeat Western sound to it. I don't know, this could be about her or it could not be, but he wrote, I know it was a cowardly thing to do and that an explanation is not an excuse. I just need you to understand that my love is like some kind of greed of equal portions want and need, and I cannot divorce the two. I could not
divorce.
I know, right? That word.
Mm-hmm.
I could not sleep at all with all the rumble strips, close calls, and in the gravel and scattered trash, I faded into your past. And when you think twice, you arrive at the same conclusion, and it's bad advice only if you use it. And then you disappeared from view, and you became somebody new. Near the exit's overpass, I faded into your past. Which is sad.
That is really sad.
I know.
It's sad. Like, they got married. Like,
They were married.
Yeah.
I know.
I think you're going to be together forever.
That's why we gotta tell the story, so the world doesn't forget that she was married to Ben Gibbard. Then in May 2013, she and him released the album Volume 3. As we know, the lyrics are all by Zooey. Could they be about Ben? A lot of the songs sound like they're about heartbreak.
Oh. Sounds like it's a sadder vibe than what she's been doing.
Kinda, but they still have that upbeat sound.
Yeah.
Here's, like, I'll show you. Here's one called I've Got Your Number, Son.
What's a man without all the attention? Well, he's just a man. Why do you fear no one will hear what you've got to say? Who am I without all your affection? I'm a nobody too. And I'm not above being unloved. That's how I've got to pay. You can tell everyone, I've got your number, son. 'Cause I can shine my light on too.
Again, repeating myself, I don't know if it's about him, but there's lyrics like, I don't want to spend night after night with you while you figure it out. You're getting restless, I'm getting restless looking at you. I don't want to be your rock in hard times, 'cause I figured you out. You're not a man who can understand anyone but you. Would I sacrifice myself at the altar of someone else's love for me? No, that doesn't comfort me. You think you can creep in the shadows while you figure it out. I've listened to enough of your stuff to fill a book or two, and you can tell everyone that I've got your number, son. If it's about him, I don't know, maybe not. seems like she's kind of fed up with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. And would I sacrifice myself at the altar of someone else's love for me?
It's like kind of like her character in 500 Days of Summer. Like she's like annoyed by his affection.
Yeah. And it seems like she thinks she would have to sacrifice something for his love.
Did they
that she
know?
doesn't want to do.
Were they still living in LA? I wonder if like that was a big part of it.
It definitely was.
Yeah.
It definitely was. And I'm going to get into that. She also has the song Never Wanted Your Love. And she says, I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm not talking to you anymore. Making my bed so I can lie there forever. I don't know what I'm doing this for. All I know is I'm tired of being clever. Everybody's clever these days. Take a win, take a fall. I never wanted your love, but I needed it all. You're so close that I can't see. You keep trying to bother me, and then you do it again. Say you're right, and I'll agree. I don't want to set you free, and then you do it again.
Do what again?
I don't know. Say you're right, and I'll agree. I don't know. Yeah, those are the lyrics I'll look at for that album. But then, so now time's passed at this point. Now I'm at 2015. But this is when Death Cab for Cutie's 8th studio album comes out, Kintsugi. And it's clear from the lyrics that a lot are inspired from his divorce to Zooey. But also halfway through recording this album, the band member Chris Walla, who was the guitarist, he left the band. So that might, I don't know if it influenced the lyrics, but it possibly could have, because I'm sure there was hard feelings. So that's when that other guy came in the band, Dave Depper, and then he got with Ben's ex.
Oh, okay.
Girlfriend.
Wow, what a small world.
I know. So for the album coming out soon, he talked to Vice, and for some reason he was asked what the meaning of life is, and Ben said, all you have in life is the relationships you have with other people. They're romantic, friendships, bands, they're frenemies, but I think throughout my entire life there have been people who've been constants throughout all the weird fucking shit. I don't know how I'd get through these trying moments in my life without my family or bandmates or people who've been around this whole time. I can count on one hand the kind of people who were those people for me when I was living in Los Angeles. I had to leave and come back to realize I had no reason to leave in the first place. The reasons for leaving were too personal and complicated for here, but I had to leave and come back to think, I'm never leaving Seattle, this is where I belong. Even while I wouldn't trade my time in LA for anything, and as painful as divorce is, I would do it again in all of those cliche answers. But it was only waking up in a Southern California landscape every day where I realized where it's not my home. The only way you can realize where your home is by leaving. I learned a lot in my time there in LA. Like, it's one of those weird, shitty things where you go through some really dark, shitty times. Oh, I read that wrong. It's one of those weird things where you go through some really dark, shitty times. There is that realization, like, I never want to do that again, but I'm glad it happened. But only when you get some distance from it, bringing back to some of the stuff on the record, only after you take it out and apart and reassemble it can you realize why it fell apart or didn't work. And you were an active participant in that, sometimes for reasons you weren't even aware of at the time.
Yeah, it really sounds like the location is a huge deal breaker in this.
Yeah.
And also just the context that she filed for divorce right after the premiere of her new hit show, which films in LA.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I don't know if like it had already been renewed for like a second season or something, but it's like she's not gonna, up and move.
No.
And I feel like the permanence of that location probably hit him too.
I know. If I had to guess, I feel like maybe she wanted to go to all these parties and stuff. And now she's like a big celebrity. And she's from LA. She likes LA. And he doesn't want to be part of that world. And he kind of says stuff like that later on too. It doesn't seem like it was his decision though. So I wonder if it just did come to him being like, I don't want to do this, or maybe he wanted to go to Washington, or maybe he just wanted to stay home, and it seems like they were both not happy.
Yeah.
It's sad. He talked to the National Post about it, and just a lot about, I feel like I don't have to read the whole thing, but asking like, it's been made that the lyrics to this album are about Ben's ex-wife. You were quite shy about talking about the relationship when it was happening. How do you feel about writing songs about it now? And he basically talks about how like he didn't want to talk about Zooey in the songs, but Jenny Lewis actually encouraged him to and said, fuck that. You don't hold back. You don't change how you go about your business. So, yeah, I think clearly in the lyrics they are about her, but obviously he doesn't, like, make it obvious. So, yeah, there's some songs I want to look at. One of them, this is really sad, I think. But it's a catchy song, No Room in Frame. The lyrics are, I don't know where to begin, there's too many things that I can't remember, as I disappeared like a trend in the hum of the 5 in the early morning. And now I'm taking my time up through Coalinga, through the valley. This highway lived in my mind, it takes me back to the place that made me. So I think highway back to Washington.
Yeah.
Was I in your way when the cameras turned to face you? No room in frame for two. That's kind of like the chorus. Was I in your way? Yeah. And then later on, he says something about the thing they once knew as love, raising their voices to convince one another. Was I in your way when the cameras turned to face you? No room in frame for two. How can I stay in the sun when the rain flows all through my veins? It's true. And I guess it's not a failure we could help, and we'll both go on to be lonely with someone else.
Oh, that's quite sad.
I know.
That's really not optimistic.
There were actually articles from this time saying, like, is it wrong that we want Ben Gibbard to be depressed?
I know, yeah.
Because he does write beautiful, sad lyrics, and I think the fan base really preferred these, like, type of sad lyrics.
Yeah.
He is so good at it. It's so sad that no room in frame for two.
Yeah, it definitely seems like her growing stardom.
Yeah.
A huge conflict.
Then there's the song Black Sun, and he does say something like, there's a desert veiled in pavement. I don't know if that's supposed to be LA or just like Los Angeles or California. And then he says, and there's a city of 7 hills, which I know Seattle is a city of 7 hills.
Oh.
And all our debris flows to the ocean. To meet again, I hope it will.
Oh, that's really sad.
I know. How could something, he sings it really slow, so fair be so cruel when this black sun revolved around you?
Oh. Very Twilight-y.
I know. This song really could have been in the saga.
Yeah.
And then he says, there is a role of a lifetime. New girl?
Yes.
And there's a song yet to be sung. And there's a dumpster in the driveway of all the plans that came undone.
Oh, that's sad. They probably have to get rid of a lot of their stuff.
I know. It kills me.
Yeah, we were just talking before this episode about how, like, people who go through a breakup where they then have to, like, move, that's, like, that's a whole added level of, like, heartache there.
All the plans in the dumpster. Their life together in the dumpster.
Oh, my God. I feel like that imagery would be, like, kind of traumatic.
I know.
You think you're going to spend the rest of your life with someone. And
I
then
know.
you're getting a U-Haul and, like,
Yeah.
throwing things away. And it's, like, literally putting it in the trash. That's so sad.
Then there's the song Beverly Drive, which I think is definitely about California too. And he sings, oh, I need not be flattered that you've never been here before. So there's no need to mention that you've no firsts before. I don't know if that's about her, but it just sounds like someone like, oh, that you've done it all or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if you let me be your skyline, I'll let you be the wave that reduces me to rubble, but looked safe from far away. And then, I don't know why I return to the scenes of these crimes, where the hedgerows slowly wind through the ghosts of Beverly Drive. I don't know why, I don't know what I expect to find, where all the news is secondhand and everything just goes on as planned. And then, I don't know if it's about Zooey, it could be just like about society or whatever, but he says, you want to teach but not be taught, and I want to sell but not be bought. So let us not be lonesome, lost in between our needs and wants, Are you lonesome tonight? Oh, definitely, there definitely was some lonesomeness. Then there's the song Hold No Gun. He says, Darling, though you may pretend that you are selfless, you break with the slightest bend, it leaves you lost and helpless. So to whom will you place the call in the coldest night of winter? 'Cause numbers change and people fall, and friends, they always splinter. Okay, this is the last one from the album, and this one made me the most sad. It's actually kind of a upbeat song, but I don't know. I was getting so into this research.
Yeah.
I was like so immersed in it. And I've just been listening to Death Cab like nonstop the past couple weeks. And there was one time I was listening to this song and I was like feeling teary-eyed. Then I listened to it earlier today and I didn't feel it quite as strong. But I was really feeling it. So it's called El Dorado. And he sings, seems you finally found El Dorado. Which, you know, is like the city of gold or something. It's like a mythical place. Seems you finally found El Dorado over in Culver City, shining bright, naming lights. And I tried to be kind for you. Oh, I'm trying to be kind for you. Oh, that's kind of like the main chorus. It's kind of like a party that you never wanted to attend, but when an invitation finally arrives, you change your mind. And I tried to be kind for you. Oh, I'm trying to be kind for you as you slip away behind the gates. Seems you finally found El Dorado.
Ooh, I wonder if he had an inferiority complex
Maybe.
with her rising fame too. Not necessarily like he wanted to be that famous too, but he worried that if the whole world loved her, that he might lose her because she has so many options and opportunities. And
I know. And she did. Like, a lot of people are in love with her. It's the part, I don't know why, it made me really sad, the part, I tried to be kind for you, I'm trying to be kind for you. I feel like that is such a realistic struggle. Like, it's so hard. It's so hard to be happy for someone that broke your heart, you know? It's really hard.
I don't think you necessarily have to be.
Really?
I don't think so. if it's like really that hard, because like I feel like sometimes there's like at least temporarily a purpose to like being angry with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it helps you move on, kind of.
I feel like in a lot of philosophical or spiritual things that I've read and listened to, they always talk about like a pure love being like, you know, not spiteful or not jealous, or like you would be happy for someone, you want someone to be happy even if you're not with them, and like the purest love, like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to benefit you. But I find it so hard, like if someone that has broken my heart, like to actually be happy for them.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I also feel like if you really try to have this pure love for them, it almost makes it harder, because then you'd be like, this is not fair that I'm not with the person who I love so selflessly.
Yeah.
You know? I guess that's a very selfish.
It's hard. I don't know if like, I don't know.
Is it possible as humans?
On Earth.
Yeah. It's good in theory, but like, I don't know. Like, it seems like it goes against like a natural, like possessive instinct that we have.
And like, I feel like that's what he's saying. Like, he's trying to be kind, for her, but he can't.
I think it's okay to accept that you're not happy for something.
Thanks, Mel. I don't know. I know.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Because it's being true to yourself. I feel like trying to be happy for them is like, that's like giving it to them.
It would feel very free though to not feel resentment anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think it's something someone can accomplish right away.
What if it's been years? Actually, at this point, it has been years for him too. I don't know. There's also the song Ingenue, which I feel like could be about her. It's very much about someone that like has youth and beauty. There's a line that's like, the currency of being 23. I mean, she was older than 23, but like just how it won't last forever too. Maybe it's not about her. It could be about like an old Hollywood starlet or something. I don't know. But years later, he reflected on this album, talking about codes and keys. And he said something about how he wasn't playing guitar and it was physically altering his playing. And Ben said, yeah, I was physically altered. I wasn't writing almost any songs on guitar because I wasn't enjoying playing guitar. I was writing a lot on piano. I was writing a lot on the computer. And also, I had these two cataclysmic shifts in my life of quitting drinking and falling in love, moving to Los Angeles, and marrying an actress. It was an interesting chapter in my life that I'm glad I experienced. But for me, I realized that because of the company I was keeping in Los Angeles, I was becoming very closed off personally. I found myself not wanting to share as much of myself that I had historically shared on records, or at least the perception of which I'd shared on records, because of who I was and the fear of people connecting the dots in a way that would expose myself and then my wife to a level of scrutiny that I felt uncomfortable with. That was about Codes and Keys, the like happier Zooey album. And she really like never said much about her divorce with Ben. Like, I feel like she hasn't opened up as much in a way. She just said something about how she wasn't focusing on dating, and she also did say back then that kids and stuff wasn't a priority for her. It was more her career. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's because he is like kind of a smaller star that he was able to open up more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is kind of random. Doesn't really pertain to Zooey, but so I feel like Ben seems like such a sweetie, like so. I don't know.
Like romantic?
Romantic, yeah. That's not articulate. This is a podcast. He just seems sweet, and I keep thinking the word delicate, but that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
But
Thoughtful?
Yeah. Yeah, he just seems like a gentleman most of the time, and really gentle. But I saw a couple of videos of him that really intrigued me, of him getting pissed during performances when the sound wouldn't be good, like just literally the sound at the performance venue, or his guitar wouldn't be tuned.
Ooh.
Right. Which like is kind of the job of the roadies, I guess. And there were literally a couple times when he threw his guitar across the stage.
Jeez.
And there's one time where the sound like wasn't working. It sounded bad, I guess. And he got so mad, and he's like, I'll do it. I'll just fucking do it. And then he like left the stage.
Ooh,
and
that's not a good look.
Yeah.
Like, especially on stage in front of people. Like, you can't control your temper.
I know.
Is that the naughty thing you were going to say?
Yeah. I was shocked. Like, he always, I mean, in videos and things, and his lyrics and everything, he just seems so sweet and everything. I know it's bad, but it kind of thrilled me. Like, I just kind of felt like Edward and Twilight getting mad. Because I just never see him like that. So it was really exciting. But yeah, I know. It does look like he has kind of a temper. Mm-hmm. I can kind of understand, because like if there's thousands of people watching you and you go to start the show and it doesn't really sound good. Yeah, but he oh my gosh, he like threw the guitar. This happened several times. Yeah. Is
it in the immediate aftermath of his divorce, or is it years later?
It's over a long period of time.
Oh, okay, so it's a habit.
It's I don't know what is wrong with their sound, though. Like, what's wrong with them? Are their roadies not good or something? I don't get it. Or the sound guys just don't get it together for Death Cab. I don't know why they would always have sound issues. Unless he's just really picky.
Yeah, unless it's like something that's like kind of normal in the industry, but he just throws a fit about it.
I don't know. He did apologize for at least one show I saw about, but yeah. And then there's another time people were fighting too, and he like stormed off the stage. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, kind of. I don't know if naughty is the right word, but a little shocking. Yeah. So as I said, Zooey dated screenwriter Jamie Linden after Ben, like pretty soon after Ben, for 2 years, and then she dated Jacob Petchnik, the film producer, and in 2015 announced her engagement to him, and they married in June 2015, and she gave birth to their daughter Elsie Otter.
Oh, that's cute.
July 2015, so 1 month later. So she was already like really pregnant when they got married. Yeah. And then they had a son, Charlie Wolf.
Oh, she has 2 kids.
2 kids, yeah. But her and Jacob separated in 2019. And she started dating the property brother, Jonathan Scott very shortly after that too.
Yeah, she moves on pretty quickly.
She does.
Because now she's been with the property brother for that's 3 years now.
Yeah, they met in 2019.
Are they married?
No, they're not married.
Okay.
Yeah. But Ben remarried too. He remarried in 2016 the photographer Rachel Demy, and Demy. It's Demy. And they seem happy together. She actually takes a lot of pictures of Death Cab, but also bands like Fleet Foxes and St. Vincent. And she's done some of Ben's album artwork, and she used to be a booking agent and a promoter and a tour manager, so she's in the music business. And I listened to an interview with him, and he was talking about how his girlfriend at the time, but now wife, she's used to touring and stuff, and I don't know, it seems like a good match. She seems really excited to be involved in Death Cab. She has a book about Death Cab. It's just pictures of them. And what's interesting also is that she used to date the guitarist Chris Walla, who left the band.
Oh, yes. Why do these women all keep coming back around?
I know.
They're just fans of the band.
Yeah.
I just want to date anybody who's in this band.
I can't believe it. This is 2 instances of
overlap.
Double dipping. Yeah. Overlap, yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I do think it's hard, for serious artists like Ben or Zooey. I feel like one person kind of needs to be
the front runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other one has to be supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we see this a lot, not just with them, with really big actors and stuff. And I do think you need to complement each other. Rachel Demy still is an artist, but she's a photographer, so
yeah,
it doesn't really conflict.
Yeah, I mean, even with artists are going on tour, how do you balance that if someone has a film shoot or a TV show that they're doing?
Whereas she goes on tour with him.
Just logistically, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And then since those Zooey albums, Death Cab's had 2 albums since then. They had the album Thank You for Today, which some lyrics could be about Zooey, but I know it has been a while, so I don't know if that's a stretch. But there's one song called Summer Years.
Oh, summer.
Summer. And he sings, as you're standing still in my mind, fading out, waving goodbye. I wonder where you are tonight if the one you're with was a compromise.
Oh.
Which sounds a little scandal, but it could be possible because it seems like her and Jacob Petchnik, I know this is really gossipy of me, but they, got married a month before they had a kid. I don't know. And she had previously said that she didn't really care about having kids. I don't know. Maybe not. And then he has a song on the album, I Dreamt We Spoke Again, which I love this song. And he says, I dreamt we spoke again. It had been so long. My mind filled in the blanks. I dreamt we spoke again. It had been so long. Your voice was like a ghost in my head. Very sad. It could be about anybody, but I like to imagine it's about Zooey. Yeah, I think that Death Cab is still doing great. They've been a band for more than 20 years, and I think they're still doing awesome. Zooey, she and him has had new music since then, but they've just been doing a lot of covers, nothing really revealing anything. And so Ben's married to Rachel Demy, Zoe's dating a property brother and has 2 kids, and that's life now. And that's Ben Gibbard and Zooey Deschanel.
Wow. Likelihood that they'll get back together?
I think pretty slim.
Yeah, it's not impossible. It's not completely out of the question. I mean,
he's married.
Oh, wait, yeah.
We're gonna say New Girl.
New Girl's over.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's acting in recently. Is she still doing a lot of film projects too?
I don't think really. Let me look up her IMDb. I didn't put it because I was like, you know what, it's not part of their relationship, but she's been a bit quiet in recent years.
I feel like she had so much success with New Girl. But it's kind of hard to do something else equivalent to that.
She was in Trolls.
Oh, yeah.
Trolls 2.
Yeah.
She was in She was in something called Dreamin' Wild. I don't know what that is. Oh, upcoming. Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Huh.
Sounds like she's doing a lot of kids stuff.
Yeah.
But that kind of suits her.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
does. She has such a, like, playful energy.
Yeah.
I mean, in New Girl, I think, like, because I know her mostly from New Girl, so
Yeah.
like, I think of her as a character in that, where she's an elementary school teacher.
Yeah.
She's arts and crafts,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, and she has said that she's not that different from Jess. I mean, she said that their personalities aren't exactly the same, but they do have a lot of shared interests,
Yeah.
like baking and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like they kind of were inspired by Zooey Deschanel with that character.
Yeah. I feel like
know.
that happens a lot.
Yeah.
She's like a delicate little, like, flower.
A delicate little flower.
But feisty, too.
Yeah, she is. She is. I know. I feel like she isn't totally just like this complacent
No.
person, you know?
She has a lot of, like, strength in her femininity. Like, I
She
feel
does.
like that show kind of, like, changed suddenly. Yeah, we've talked about this in the Twilight podcast, but everyone was obsessed with, like, the strong
Yeah.
female character, and they were always, like, kind of masculine in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like with New Girl, Jess's character, people started to realize that, like, you can still be stereotypically feminine.
Yeah.
And be, like, a strong lead,
Yeah.
you know?
I like to think so. That's
Wow.
basically it. And I made a playlist. It's going to be on Spotify and Apple Music with all these songs. If you guys want to listen to it,
Yeah.
I will link it in the description.
And what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
How old is he now?
He is definitely in his 40s. I think if she's 42, he's probably 46.
Have there been no known interactions since then?
Not that I know of. Yeah, he's
Wow.
46. All my favorite musicians are guys in their 40s.
Yeah.
I swear to God. Yeah. Ben, he has a different look now. He usually always had the longish
Yeah.
sort of emo hair, but recently he's been wearing it kind of like combed back. It's a little different. I think he looks good. I think he's looking good now. I think his recent years have almost been better than ever. He's a big runner, I guess.
Yeah, that's so cute that he joined just a running group randomly. I love that.
Yeah.
And I don't think do I know who your next episode's on?
No, I don't think so.
I have no idea, actually. Wait, you tease it.
Okay.
And, like, I want to try to
I
guess.
was gonna see if you're gonna ask me, but then
If
I
I-
didn't tell you.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like the episodes are just moving so quickly
I know
now.
they are. Yeah, I was kind of overwhelmed because we had the Jane Austen episode coming out, and I was really, really, really heavily researching this episode, but at the same time I was editing the Mila one and then the Eminem one, and yeah,
It's literally balancing so many different episodes.
it was a
at
whirlwind.
once.
Oh, one of our listeners, I feel bad I don't remember who now, but one of our listeners suggested, remember how I was trying to make Wedlock Wednesday happen?
Yeah.
She suggested, what if we did Whirlwind Wednesday?
I love that.
Because that's kind of a romantic term.
Yeah.
Whirlwind
we didn't even
romance.
think of that.
I know.
Whirlwind Wednesday.
I need to figure out who said that. I feel bad.
I
didn't
love
write it down.
That's genius.
I know. It was a Whirlwind Wednesday today. Is it Wednesday? It is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're recording on a
Yeah.
Wednesday.
So next episode, guys, and Mel doesn't know what it is.
Mhm.
Next episode is about two actors when they were young and they were engaged in the 90s. I know I've done one that sounds like that before,
I know.
but
I
it's
feel like
not
I
the
have
same.
something in mind.
But is that all I should say? Should I say more?
Give me one more hint.
One of them is one of like my favorite actors.
Okay, like I just thought of Timothy Chalamet.
No, he was a baby. I would love to cover Timothy Chalamet, but I don't think he's been in any interesting relationships. I've said that before.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly. Oh, you know what?
One more hint.
I don't want to keep this in the episode. I'm going to cut it because it's going to give it away.
What?
He dated the daughter of one of these people. Supposedly.
Isn't her... Oh, I know who you're talking about.
That's all I'll say. But
I know exactly who you're talking about.
do you know the other person too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of gives it away.
Okay, I'm gonna cut that out. But thank you guys so much for listening.
No, leave it in, actually.
Why?
Because I almost feel like the hint was too hard without it.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting to get that perspective of, like, knowing the hint beforehand.
Yeah.
To see how it comes across to the actual audience.
Yeah.
Because usually we know, so it's like, oh, that sounds really obvious. But it's not.
Yeah. It sounded really similar to Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow.
That's what I thought it was at first.
Already did. I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
I didn't do it justice the first time. I gotta do it again. That'd be fucking weird. Don't let me do that. Actually, wait, one more thing before we sign off.
Mm-hmm.
I meant to in the beginning make a joke about how this was going to be really long and I was going to have to do it in many parts, but I didn't say it. But Mel and I were talking about possibly doing some 2-part episodes in the future.
Yeah. Would you guys like that?
Yeah, would you?
Some of these episodes, I think, deserve to be 2 parts. Especially
Yeah.
they're really long. Like, let's say I ever did Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. That is, like, what, like 60 years?
I know. I wish I did that for Charles and Camilla. I think originally I wanted it to just be tied up in a bow in one episode. And I don't think we'll do it too often.
I think that's
but
my goal.
Yeah.
To still have one episode for it, but if it just feels like it can't be condensed.
I feel like 2 would be the max, though. I don't think we would do, like,
No.
3 or 4
No.
parts.
I mean, we did the Robson one in 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, okay. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you.
And we'll get back together next week.
Back again. Tell me, dear,